Hey, Crossroads, I waited a long time to share this with you, and want to share with you today our plans for reopening. The Bible says that we should never give up meeting together. However, our world has seen something that we've never seen before. We have worked hard to stay connected, but it's been very different. The reason that we are to meet together is that because it builds strength, emotional and spiritual strength when we come together to worship the Lord. And when we get out of the habit of meeting together, it's very easy and we can lose our zeal. We lose our passion. We get caught up with all the things going on in our life. And what we want to do here is we want to create a church overflowing with people passionate about Jesus. And as the Apostle Paul said, we need to meet together in order to do that. At the same time, our world is still reeling from the effects of this virus, and we want to be safe, very safe. We recognize that not everyone is ready to come back to church, but at the same time, many people are very ready. We learned that from our survey. But I want us to be a church that is considerate and loving toward one another. We want to bear one another's burdens. And so, for this reason, the church board and I have put together a 3-phase reopening plan. And please understand as I share this with you that if the situation with the virus gets worse, and if our government authorities add any more restrictions, then we're probably going to push back the dates of these phases, and we're going to work very hard to comply with any new regulations that may come up. The state of Texas and Governor Abbott have deemed churches to be essential, and the state has given them the freedom to open up. However, the city of San Antonio still recommends that churches open with mitigating factors, and so we're going to employ them as much as possible. I sent out a survey last week or 2 weeks ago, and many of you responded. We know from the survey that many of you do not want or think that any of these efforts are necessary. But to me, this is a loving your neighbor moment. We want to bear one another's burdens. So even if you disagree, we're asking you to comply and to take these very seriously to help everyone feel more comfortable about meeting together. We took that information from the survey along with the government guidelines to put this plan together. So it's been thought about, prayed over. The church board and I had a long meeting discussing this. And so let me go through it with you. First, following government guidelines, we want to encourage the elderly and those with compromised immune systems to remain at home. We're not telling you can't come. No one is going to be asked to leave, but we are encouraging this for your own safety. We're going to reopen for in-person services on Sunday, May 17th, with services both at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. This is going to be phase one. And following the government's guidelines, we're going to employ the following mitigating elements. We're asking that many of you choose the early service. Typically, the later service has more people, but because of social distancing, it would be a great help if many of you would come to the early service instead of the later service to help us spread out across the sanctuary. We're asking everyone to wear masks. We've purchased many of these and hope to have those soon before we reopen. So if anyone doesn't have one, we can provide one for you. And so that is something that we're asking everybody. I know not everybody likes that, but again, we're asking you to take these seriously and help one another be comfortable. We're also asking that people greet one another without handshakes or hugs. We're asking everyone to sit in family groups and use social distancing between families. And so you can sit with your spouse, your kids, but we're asking to keep space between you and other families. We're not going to have any coffee or donuts. We're not going to be passing the offering plates, communion supplies, or even bulletins. So please download the app so that you can stay connected. We will not be having Sunday school. Right now, we felt the size of our classes combined with the sizes of our rooms, it just does not allow for social distancing right now. Lifelines, however, including youth rallies, will be meeting. Lifelines are going to have a choice to meet online using Zoom, or they can meet in person, but only with masks and social distancing here in the church, which means there may be different nights. So we'll have to work that out. Youth rallies will also be using social distancing and masks without sports or any interactive games. They're not going to have any food or drinks at the Lifelines or youth rallies either. We're not going to be having Sunday school because of the number of the people, the classes, the sizes. It would prohibit social distancing, but we feel like with Lifelines, only having one group here at night or maybe one per building, we can still do that. For social distancing also, we're not going to be running the vans right now. We're going to continue using Facebook Live and our YouTube channel to broadcast the services, but no vans are going to run for social distancing's sake. On Sundays, we're going to be sanitizing the sanctuary between services. We're also going to have a staff member who's going to be sanitizing the restrooms on the hour. So this is going to be done at 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, and 12:30. In phase one, we will not have children's church or nursery. Now, we know from our survey this is going to be hard for some parents, but we're also trying to follow the government guidelines to reopen everything slowly, so just bear with us. We will, however, be providing children activity packets for our kids when they come. Now, these are going to include your typical things such as colors, coloring books, but also we're going to have links and use email to help you let your children use your phone, bring some headphones for them, and there will be links for children's videos, and the packet's going to have a guide for you to discuss with your children about these videos later at home. And so we're trying to help children as much as we can. Now, we're planning to start phase two on June 7th. During phase two, we're going to start having nursery and children's church. However, it's going to be a little bit different. Children's church is going to use social distancing without close interaction between the children, and it's only going to be for ages 7 to 11. Now, the nursery, we're going to open up 5 rooms instead of 2, and that's going to be for 6 and below. We think it'd be hard for them to maintain social distancing. And we're going to have 5 rooms so that we can keep the number of people in each room to 5 or less. So that's 1 staff member and 4 kids. In phase 2, we will keep the efforts going, but we're going to reevaluate the use of masks depending on the government recommendations. And then in phase 3, beginning July 5th, we hope to open up Sunday school and the van ministry and return children's church back to ages 4 to 11. We're still going to maintain social distancing, but all this is going to be reevaluated as we get closer to that date. Now, we're going to put all this up on our website, and it's going to be on Facebook so that you can look at it anytime. If you have questions, I want you to contact me. Again, this is something the church board and I worked very hard at. We had long discussions and prayer about this, trying to make sure we can meet together, but at the same time be considerate, loving, and submissive to our government authorities. So we hope you will come. We hope you'll bring your whole family. If you're not ready to, that is okay. Join us online, and we will see you there. And we're going to continue to try to make our online presence very, very strong. If you do come to the services, understand that because we're also doing the online and trying to make that as good as possible, you may see cameras in the sanctuary. You may see somebody walking around with a camera. Different things like that, just to try to help make the online broadcast more interesting and more stimulating to help keep people's attention and things like that. In everything that we're doing, we are trying to build a church overflowing with people who are passionate about Jesus. We want to love people into a loving relationship with Jesus Christ. We want to worship passionately. We want to share truth. We want to serve other people. And so I just want to encourage you, let's get passionate about Jesus. God bless you, Crossroads, and I'll see you soon in person.